including the fiery furnace, whatever that looks like for your life. Okay, so, but even if he does not, the three boys say, let it be known to you, O king, that we are not going to serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. So they're like, you know what? We know he can. But even if he doesn't, it won't change our mind. It will not change where we are. It will not change what we're going to do. And that is, we're not going to worship you or your image. Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and his facial expressions changed towards Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then he gave a command that the furnace was to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Now, that wasn't part of what he had said. He just said you'd be thrown into the furnace, to the fiery furnace. But because they spoke with such conviction and what they would not do, even if he was so infuriated, he is believing, hey, I'm going to turn up hotter. Now what you going to do? Well, let's see. All right. So he commanded certain strong men in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the furnace of blazing fire. Then these 3 men were tied up in their trousers, their coats, their turbans, and other clothes, and were thrown into the midst of the furnace of blazing fire. Because the king had commanded, because the king's command was urgent and the furnace was extremely hot, the flames of the fire killed the men who carried Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay, look here. You gotta watch it. Because those who are sending their commands for you against God, they're going to, first of all, be thrown in, destroyed of. In this case, they were killed. So by the same fire, by the same intention that someone has against you, when they think they're going to have you thrown in some way or manner, whatever it is that's appointed to throw you in will be destroyed on your way in. Even if you get tossed in there, the destruction is still going to come to them. Remember that. Okay. These 3 men were tied up. Okay, sorry. Hold on, guys. But these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell into the midst of the furnace of blazing fire, still tied up. Remember, they're tied up. They're thrown. They have no control. None. They're tied up. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king looked in and was astonished. He jumped up and said to his counselors, did we not throw 3 men who were tied up into the midst of the fire? They replied to the king, certainly, O king. That's what we did. We was all here when it happened. He never mentioned the fact that, because he told those men to throw them in, that they got burned up. He never mentioned that. There was no mention of the fact that what he thought he was doing, who he commanded to do, was destroyed first. Then he answered, look, I see a 4th man, untied. And he's walking around in the midst of fire, and they are not hurt. And the appearance of the fourth man looks like the Son of God. Okay, so first of all, he spots, there's three of them that was thrown in there. They're tied up. But he spots a fourth one, untied, walking around. And not only that, but he knew inherently, he knew he was the Son of God. As I know that everyone on this earth knows inherently there's a God, and that they know. And it takes something very astonishing for those to understand that they knew all along. Because how do you know it was the Son of God? It was revealed to him that it was the Son of God. God revealed it to him that it was the Son of God. So now what? Then Nebuchadnezzar approached the door of the blazing furnace and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out of there. Come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the midst of the fire. Oh, hold on. Oh, he said, come out. The servants of the Most High God. Now remember, he appointed them to be his servant, to bow down to his image, to bow down to his God. Now he's saying, servant of the living, servant, hold on, of the Most High God. The same king who built a 90 feet high stature with the width of 9 feet, he's saying, I don't have nothing on this God. Nothing. So I'm calling forth you men to say, come forth, because you are the servants of the Most High God. You stood in spite of what I said. You did not move, even though you could have. You stayed faithful to your God. And God had to show Nebuchadnezzar what staying faithful is, because being faithful does not mean we don't come against challenges. It does not mean that we don't have storms and that we don't have tribulations and we don't have trials. It's not what it means. It's not what it means. It means that in all things, you still stand firm in it. You don't let it move you. No matter how shaky it gets, no matter how many tears you cry, how many times you are like, this is not working. I mean, I don't know. Do we really know that on the way they weren't thinking, okay, they're really taking us? They're really going to do this? Oh my gosh, it burned up those men. What's going to happen to us? But not one time did they say, hey, I surrender. I'll bow down. Take me out this fire. Unbind me. They stood. They stayed. They remained. And Jesus became the fourth man in the fire. I'll be back with the conclusion of Daniel chapter 3. See you soon.